This is interesting. This is honey that's pretty much filtered already, but it hasn't been filtered. But if you put it through the screen, it just, even with the filter, it's still, you gotta just slow it down because it needs to go through the filter down there. But instead of doing the usual thing of filtering it while I'm extracting it, I just extracted it into the bucket right away, and all the waxy bits floated to the top, and then I took it and scraped the waxy bits off, scooped it up with this scooper, and I dumped it in this bucket of water here, so you can see this kind of gross looking bits of flakes of comb and debris from the hive, from the frames that were extracted. But I let all the gunk just sort of float to the top, and then I just scraped it off, and then what was left is nice clean honey that I hardly had to filter. It's probably not new to some people, but it's new to me, and I think I'm just going to go with that method from now on, instead of just let it let all the debris come out of the extractor, all the bits of wax and pollen and whatever else come out of the extractor with the honey into the bucket, and just leave it for a day or two and let all the gunk float to the top, and then scrape the gunk off, and what you got left is nice clean honey. Look at that, man. Woo, this is easy. Just look how clean this honey is. There we go. Boo. But it fills up the filter pretty quick, so I gotta just like go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stop. So now it's just gonna, still dripping a bit here. There it goes. And I've got my bucket. This is my food grade Canadian Tire bucket. I've got 5 liters marked there, 10 liters here, 12 and 15. And it's going to be nice clean honey, which I am selling by bucket. Come and buy this bucket if you want to. I'll probably put at least 12 liters into it. And $40 a liter is what I'm selling it at, which is cheap compared to most prices of raw honey in Newfoundland. So come and get it. Woo! Oh, that tastes good too. It's a slightly darker honey too. Oh man. Ooh, yeah. It's good when it's in the bottle, but it really does have a certain punch of sweetness, extra sweetness it seems when it's fresh from the hive like this. I'm going to put 12 liters in this bucket. Now I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel of the bucket. Getting down, according to that little measurement, down to the last 5 liters. And you can see the stuff is coming through. So we're going to have a little bit of filtering going on here. But it's a lot less than I would have had to deal with had I been filtering it directly from the extractor. So I suppose this is the final step in this whole process. Or if you want to get fancy, this protocol. So I took all the bits of wax that were floating in my honey bucket, and I scraped them with this little spoon, and I put it in a bucket of water. So this was like half filled with water, and then I just scooped up all of it, put it in that bucket of water, and then came out here and took the strainer and dumped the water and the leftover glum here and waxy bits that was floating to the top of the water already, and just poured it through a regular honey filter into another bucket. And now I've got nice flaky bits of wax that I can leave out and let the bees clean up, so it'll be nice and dry. And then down here I've got this honey flavored water that I can use for mixing sugar syrup or anything else I need to mix up for the hives. Or I suppose if I really wanted to, I could feed it back to the bees, maybe add a little bit of honey to it and give it a thickness of syrup or something. I don't know. But anyway, you don't have to waste all that water. And I suppose some people could even cook with it, because if everything is kept clean, go to town. But anyway, that's a nice little thing that I've done for the first time, and I think I'm going to stick with this method. Don't bother filtering the honey when it comes out of the extractor. Just let it all go into a bucket, let all the junk float to the top, scrape it all off, and then pour it into buckets or jars or whatever with a regular filter, and it won't have to filter as much junk out. And you're left with this, and there you go. This may not be an issue for people who use a decapping knife to decap their honey frames, because a decapping knife, when you put the frames into the extractor, it leaves you with very little debris and bits of honey and whatever, bits of wax, stuff like that. And most of it is taken off with the knife. But if you don't do that, if you use a hot gun or just scrape the cappings open with a fork or whatever, then you're left with more debris on the frames, and a lot of that just flies out into the extractor, and you get this. So it may not be an issue for most people, but it is for me, because I don't like making the mess of honey that comes with scraping or cutting the honey frames off with a decapping knife, because it's just too much mess. But this seems much easier and less mess. Maybe a few more steps, but not too bad, really. It's really nice and clean and easy to do. So I think that's it. I think I found a winner. A new way of extracting my honey and retrieving the wax. And there's the bucket of honey flavored water.